Now, WJC's Purple Playbook brought to you by M&T Bank.
A massive showdown in the AFC this weekend. This time next week, either the Ravens or Chiefs are going to be 1-3. There's a lot to get to over the next 30 minutes. Joining me at the desk, as always, two-time Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith. And Torrey, Ravens have a lot to clean up. It's a short week, and there's a lot to talk about after getting physically dominated by the Lions on Monday Night Football. You know, both the Ravens and Chiefs off to a slow start this season. I don't think either team expected to only have one win going into week 4.
Yeah, not at all. And, you know, talk about two of the best teams in the league, two of the most hyped teams in the league when you talk about the players they have and what they're capable of with their rosters. But that's why you go out there and you play the games. I think right now both of these teams are in a tough spot, but the season is far from over. You're talking about two teams that have a winning pedigree, that have winning coaches that have been in these situations. They understand how to lead, and they have the right amount of veteran leaders to go out there and execute and get them to the next level. But to sit here right now for this Ravens team and their losses, it has been very disappointing because you very easily could have won the game in Buffalo, right? That can go either way. That's NFL football with another great team. But last week versus the Detroit Lions, they flat out dominated the Ravens up front, and that's not the norm. You normally get maybe one of those games a year, maybe two, but to have it this early is a little frustrating while they're still trying to figure things out. But the Ravens will not hit the panic button, and they can't afford to going into Kansas City this week.
I've been watching the Ravens my whole life. I can't remember the last time a team came to Baltimore and just whooped on the Ravens, like just physically dominated, did whatever they wanted to do. We're talking about Lamar Jackson getting sacked 7 times. The Lions ran for 207 yards between the tackles. Just both lines of scrimmage, the Ravens just really seemed to struggle there. And quickly, now you got to turn that page to Kansas City, and they're going to be leaning on the leadership of this team to get things back on track.
Guys look to me, you know, for that leadership role, you know, so I'm going to try to do the best of my ability to let those guys know it's on. Like, you know, we got to tighten up. Even though we wanted to, we was there last year, but that's not pretty to be sitting at. You know, it's a long season ahead of us, but we got to just lock in.
All right, we're only 3 weeks in. Long season ahead, like Lamar said, but there's a lot to worry about when we're talking about the Ravens. What worries you most about this Ravens team, which you've seen the first few weeks of the season?
The thing that's most concerning is the trenches, right? I don't care if it's youth football or it's NFL football. You have to be dominant in the trenches. And right now, the Ravens have been super inconsistent there. And it's not like you can just say, hey, there's a guy on the side that can help us. It has to come within through chemistry and just simply going out there and executing. When I watch the film, I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, yeah, this isn't the norm to go out there and get beaten. I know all the fans are all emotional on social media, trying to figure out, fire everybody, fire Zach, fire Harbaugh, relax, right? But if you watch the film of the players, they weren't winning enough, right? And you see opportunities there, but this game, no matter how you shape it, is a player's game. Did you win your one-on-one matchup? And too often than not, you can look at that film and you see guys who aren't playing up to the Ravens' standard of football. So going into Kansas City, it is a great opportunity to get back on track, right? That was a big game. The country was watching, right? That's the one thing you love about it. You love the pressure of playing in primetime games, but obviously if you don't get it done, it definitely bothers you. But now they have the opportunity to be under the big lights again. It's not a primetime game. However, they have the opportunity to be on the front stage, because whenever Patrick Mahomes is playing and Lamar Jackson is playing, that's a primetime game for anyone. I don't care what time it's played. So they have to get back on track.
You're putting it on the players, and there's a lot of blame to go around, right? I mean, we can even talk about Derrick Henry and the fumbles in every game so far this season. But to me, it comes back to late game decision making and coaching. Week 1, 4th and 3, the decision to punt it back to Josh Allen when you're winning instead of just ending that game, that stands out to me. And then you look at this last game, 4th and 9. You're down 4, I believe is what it was, with 9 minutes to go. And this is a team that already had a 98, 96-yard drive, and you're giving them the ball back instead of going out and trying to win this game. And it really, when you have the best player in the planet on your team, I just can't wrap my brain around why they're deciding to put themselves in those situations.
Yeah, I always think it's a field thing, because if you ask
But it goes,
me,
both of those decisions are against analytics and field.
If you ask me or my son, TJ Smith, if he's playing Madden, he's going for it.
He's going.
All right? And Coach Harbaugh over the years has typically been aggressive. To see that happen, that goes to show me for 1,000% I'm confident that it had to have been an analytics decision, which for those that do not know.
Both
say
against
go
analytics, yeah.
Yeah, so when you talk about Harbs in general, I know they said there may have been a little personal situation on the sideline, which in the first incident, which allowed Lamar not to be ready, apparently, right? And on the backside of it, I think you just always go down swinging, right? I think being aggressive is the way to go, but I think sometimes you have to go off of a feel, and numbers don't tell the whole story. So while I 1,000% would have went for it in every situation, don't ever ask me. I'm going down. If I'm going down,
don't even need a punt.
It's being aggressive. Yeah, I don't even need it, right? But I think in Coach Harbaugh's case, if you're watching and you're being honest about what we're seeing on the film, sometimes you have to go by the feel of how the team is playing. And there's times where it can be lights out on the offensive side of the ball, or it's times like last week where you're looking and you're like, man, where can we find the first down? Because that Detroit Lions team did a great job playing ball.
Yeah, I think we can agree, disagree on that aspect. I think that one thing everyone can agree on, the most surprising thing is just how bad the defense has been, right? And I mean, statistically one of the worst in the league so far this season, and that's not us, talking through and making up stats. That is what the numbers are telling us. No team has given up more yards than the Ravens, and only the Dolphins have given up more points. Teams are averaging 32 points per game against the Ravens, and John Harbaugh says he's not worried about it. He's not worried about his defense.
I'm very determined, just like all the guys are, to pursue excellence. That's what we do, So we're not wringing our hands about it. Bitterly disappointed, sure, of course, But we play next week. We'll be playing on Sunday, and we'll be playing the Sunday after that too, and the Sunday after that. And all those Sundays are going to be what determines the season. So we know we can do something about it. You go out there and you go play.
What do you make of those comments? I feel like as much as we heard this offseason how much this isn't going to be like last year, we know on paper this is supposed to be, a very good, an elite defense, one of the best in the league. It's not coming to fruition right now. Just what do you make of John not being worried?
I mean, you can't go out there and put it all on the table in panic mode, right? If he did tell you the truth that he was worried, it'd be problems, right? Everyone would lose their mind. But I think for this team, I think we're all disappointed in where they are, right? From the fan perspective and the coaches on the inside, right? When you look at the talent that's on this team, there's no way we should be in this situation, right? That's a real statement. However, you have to believe with the leaders that you have in the coaching staff and with the players that you're going to be able to turn it around. But I'll tell you, it was alarming to look at the film and see guys not winning their one-on-one matchups. There has to be more pride that's put into dominating your matchups because, again, that's what this game is all about. The coach can't put you but in so many situations. As players, you have to go in. That's NFL football, period. And I think right now that's just not happening on a good level. But I think
Is there a quick fix?
No, absolutely not. There's no quick fix at all. You just got to get it done. And that's the thing about it. There's no rhyme or reason as to why a team is magically successful. And we could just go back to last year. We were having these exact same conversations last year about how bad the defense was, but before it felt like a personnel issue. The personnel is there, and they're having problems. So now it's like, okay, how do you tighten it up? And to me, it's a situation of it's going to take time, it's going to take reps. Because when I look at it, I don't see guys loafing, throwing in the towel. I just simply see guys not going out there and winning. And that's a problem. And to get on track is not the best offense to see right now to get on track. However, on the flip side of that, when you're maybe a little down, this is the opportunity to go out there and show who you are against another top-tier opponent offensively.
Absolutely. We'll see if they can get right on Sunday. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this matchup against the Chiefs. And it's going to be a Sunday showdown. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry share their thoughts on the matchup when Purple Playbook continues.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The winning prognosis, brought to you by LifeBridge Health. Care bravely.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. The Ravens are getting ready for a massive showdown against the reigning AFC champions on Sunday. This game might have a playoff feel, but both the Ravens and Chiefs are off to slow starts this season. After Sunday's game, one of these teams is going to be 1-3. Derrick Henry told me this isn't just another game, and the Ravens are very aware of how big this game is. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are a perfect 3-0 against the Ravens at home. But Lamar Jackson isn't focused on the past. He's just looking forward to Sunday.
It's in the past. You can't bring what happened back whenever when, to this year. We just got to lock in on what's ahead right now, just getting better in practice, watch film on those guys, watch ourselves, self-scout ourselves, just get after it come Sunday.
This team has been a dynasty for a while now. They're solid on all three phases, defense, I think they're solid from top to bottom, and they got game records. So, it's the preparation is very key this week.
All right, both these teams 1-2. I don't think anyone expected these starts for these teams. Chiefs getting a little bit healthier. Xavier Worthy practicing, potentially making his return this week. What do you think about this matchup? I mean, this to me, it's like it's more of a mental thing than actually X's and O's. This is a tough matchup for the Ravens.
It is a tough matchup, but I think the mental thing for the players is
and the coach, and John and Andy Reid.
But you're able to tune it out to say, we need this now. Right, so there's two different ways you can approach this. You can say, oh man, woe us. Dang, we let this slip and keep complaining about what happened before. Or you can say, listen, we can shake this embarrassment off and we can go out there and dominate a team that's, because I don't care what the Chiefs record is. I believe in them to the end, right?
As long as 15, just like here, as long as 8's out there,
yes,
as long as 15's
as long as they're out there, it doesn't matter. And so, obviously, one of these teams are going to be in a tough spot, 1-4. But the way you think about it as a team is typically you break up your season into quarters, right? And so if you go 1-3 now, that means you have to have an undefeated stretch along the way in one of your 4 games. Both of these teams, make no doubt about it. I don't care what the record says. I don't care what the numbers will even say about the team's percentages that go 1-4 and then making the playoffs. Both of these teams will be playoff teams. It's about where you position yourself. And for this Baltimore Ravens team, they can only focus on going out there, playing well on the road, protecting the football, and getting back to being the bully, because last game was not the case. I think focusing on their identity and who they are will be what allows them to get back going this Sunday.
You said both teams will be playoff teams. I think the path is a little more clear for the Ravens. If the Chiefs were to lose this game, we're talking about them being in a division with the Chargers and Broncos. I think they might come out. I mean, to me, this game means more to them, big picture, than it does to the Ravens.
It will, but they'll be, out of those few wild card spots, their division will have a few of them, right? I think right now in the AFC North, respectfully, the Cleveland Browns, they're going to win a couple of games here and there, but I don't think they have enough long-term, even though their defense is one of the best in the league, which, by the way, the Ravens made them look very pedestrian. But then you have the Cincinnati Bengals, who they have their backup quarterback who's doing a great job, but he's not Joe Burrow. You're not concerned about them long-term. And the Pittsburgh Steelers with Aaron Rodgers, I think they are going to be a tough team to watch. I think that's what this division will come down to. The good guys here in Baltimore or the trash guys in Pittsburgh. And you have to figure out who's going to win it. But then those wild card spots, the one or two of them, it'll be 2 wild card spots that will end up coming from these divisions between the AFC North and West, and we'll see who comes out. And I think the Ravens are in position to still win this division, and it all starts on Sunday.
Absolutely. Well, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes being out there in this Ravens defense. We touched on that a little bit earlier, but they are going to have a tough task, and they're going to be shorthanded again this week. John Harbaugh announced that Nnamdi Madubuike is going to be out for Sunday's game. This is the second straight game that Madubuike will miss as he continues to deal with a neck injury. John Harbaugh was asked if he's concerned about that long-term injury. He says that he is, but he can't really speak on that right now. Just when you hear Harb's talk the way that he did, what does that kind of tell you, especially when you were talking about long-term injuries and the concern being there for him?
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes when you hear coaches talk, to me, it goes through one ear and out of the other, right? Just simply because I know they're built to lie to us on the outside and to protect their team and to build guys up. When you hear Coach Harbaugh mention that he's concerned about injuries, the same Coach Harbaugh who wouldn't tell you if a player's pinky toe was hurt, right, that he's concerned, I think that is a red flag. And why? Because it goes to show that it's bigger than the game of football, right? I have no idea what his injury is. But if Coach Harbaugh said he's concerned, and anytime you're dealing with the player's neck, you tend to forget when he's coming back. Is he okay? Because this game is a game where there's a physically taxing component that you can get hurt. And it could be long-term ramifications from it. Is the player safe? So for Nnamdi, myself personally, I don't care if he ever comes back and plays for the Ravens. I hope that his health is fine, first and foremost. And if the game presents itself that he can play again, that would be great. I hope there's also absolutely nothing wrong with him, right? That would be the perfect world. But when Coach Harbaugh mentions that he is concerned and he's been ruled out immediately, you know there are tests being done to really check it out. And you have to be cautious because, again, it's way bigger than football. It's about life and quality of life as well.
And Odafe Owe mentioned that he spoke with Nnamdi and said that Nnamdi's top concern right now is just finding a way to get back on the field. So that's obviously encouraging to hear that that's where his mind's at right now. But when we look at it big picture now, without knowing his status for the future, just who are you looking to maybe step up on that defensive line? That is a massive role. That's an all-pro. That's a Pro Bowler right there in the heart of that defensive line. Is there a guy that maybe can rally the troops and get someone to step up?
Man, if you ask me, I don't think there is one guy. But when you talk about this team as a whole, not only Madubuike is the guy that stands out as the superstar, and he was paid as such, of this entire defensive line. There's no one D end or one D tackle or one nose guard that can replace what he does. And also, if you go with what the problem is from the past couple of weeks, guys haven't been playing up to their potential anyway. So it's going to take a collective group effort to be able to get over the hump. And at the end of the day, if that's the approach they take versus one young player feeling like, oh man, the pressure's on me, I have to do it. Sure, guys will get more opportunities. But if you go and you look at how last week was, no one took advantage of it. It's about getting your reps, getting more comfortable, and having the young guys get better as they come along, because there is no one to replace what he can do as an individual on the roster.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, we don't know what the injury is. We're just hoping for the best for Nnamdi.
Absolutely.
Bigger than football right now. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the biggest topics around the league, and Torrey's going to tell us if it's something or nothing. Stay with us.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The Bottom Line, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. It's time for a game we call Something or Nothing. I'm going to throw out a topic, and Torrey, you tell me if it's something or nothing. Let's start with the big news of the week. Russell Wilson benched. Jackson Dart going to make his first start this weekend against the Chargers. Something or nothing?
That's definitely nothing, because if I'm going to save my job, I'm going to try to start my young quarterback to prove that I have the opportunity to raise him up and we have a bright future. But Coach Dave, he has to save his job. It's that simple. Russ is not going to be able to be the guy that saves you. Both of y'all will be fired. So there's absolutely nothing to it.
Oh, why now? Why not, in the Chiefs game, with games out of reach, throw him in there, get him some reps, low pressure situation?
I mean, you see how dramatic the fans are here in Baltimore with the winning coach and Coach Harbaugh wanting to get him fired after just 3 weeks. I mean, that seat up there in New York is burning. The one here isn't even lukewarm, right? So I think it's about giving yourself a chance. And honestly, if Russ is making mistakes, you're better off giving your young guy a chance to get going, and maybe that fearless mindset he has allows him to go out there and play free.
All right, Micah Parsons returning to Jerry World this weekend. He still has his suite. He's gonna pack that with his family and friends. But Micah not getting the tribute video from the Cowboys. Something or nothing?
That's absolutely nothing. Who thought he was going to get one anyway? He's a great player there. He's not going to be in there.
Zeke Elliott got one.
He's not going to be in their Ring of Honor or anything. He didn't even play there through a second contract.
He's not going to be in their Ring of Honor?
No, he's only played there for a few years.
All pro?
Unless they want to be bandwagoners down the line when he continues
just
on
hitch
his
their
path.
wagon to him?
Yeah, he makes the Hall of Fame one day and he split his time there, He's a great player. I love him to death as a person on and off the field. He's a competitor. He's a huge fan of the game. I love him, but there's no way, especially the way this divorce happened with the most pettiest owner in the NFL and Jerry Jones, there's absolutely no way they expected anything good to come out of that.
All right, Torrey, I'm sure you've seen it. You're big on social media. These player podcasts, especially here in Baltimore, fans are done with these player podcasts. What do you make of them? Something or nothing. The player podcast, press and record after a tough loss. Getting home and the first thing you do is press record.
Listen, I think there's something to it because that's the new era that we're in. I actually talked to Trippy, one of the fans that lost his mind over everything. And, I think fans have the right to be upset. But I think when players handle the media, and so there's an emotional aspect that I think people forget that guys are dealing with. Like when you lose, it hurts. And you feel like when you walk, I always just tell people, man, when I'm going to the grocery store the next day to get eggs after a loss, I'm looking around like somebody's grandma staring a hole through me like, you bum, you just cost us a game or whatever it may be, right? There's a lot that goes to it. But I do think as a former player, I believe in the power of the player to always be able to spend 20 minutes just talking when you've already worked out hours, when you've already done your treatment for hours. People think just because they don't see you doing it, that you're not doing it. That's where I get into my little agreements. But make sure it's never personal, right? Keep it focused on football. Make sure it's never personal.
Right after the game, though, going home, first thing you do,
He did it the next day. I mean,
there's two.
Came out. Yeah.
So and to be fair to Marlon, it looked like his was pre-recorded. He just did the little, the little 2-minute. But Kyle Van Noy going home right after.
But Kyle Van Noy didn't play. Kyle Van Noy was by me watching the game, right? He was in owner's suite, chilling. So he was watching it, and he wasn't on the field. So I think people have to understand this is a new day, right? Back in the day, guys were smoking cigarettes, talking about the
way
game,
back in the day.
talking about the game at the pool hall. Right now, you have guys that have the ability to use their platform and to put their voice out in a way that still protects the team. And if you look at it, these are guys that are older that are also working towards their transition. We just talked about a guy, Michael Parsons, who does it, and people kill him for it. But he has the ability to do it, and guess what? Hundreds of thousands of people tune in.
Listen, when you're winning, it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, we're taking a quick break. Final thoughts when we come back. Stay with us.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. Now, WJC's Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook as we get ready for kickoff. A reminder that you can watch Sunday's game right here on WJZ. We have Jim Nance, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson on the call. Kickoff set for 4:25 in Arrowhead. Torrey, less than 30 seconds. Quick thoughts on the game.
I'm excited about it. I actually have the opportunity to go out there and watch it. I'll be calling it on air, so I'm looking forward to the energy out there.
The Ravens get it done.
The Ravens get it done. Quiet the noise and get back on track.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this week's Purple Playbook. For two-time Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith, I'm Alex Glaze. We do this show every week, so we will see you next week right back here.